Hello everyone, and welcome to Behind the Bulletin. Every untold truth finds its voice. Tonight, we uncover a story that has shaken the entire entertainment world, a tense, heartbreaking moment that unfolded in the darkest hours. Young Mei Mei was rushed to the ER at midnight, and what followed left millions speechless. Yu Long heard the doctor's update. His reaction broke the internet and revealed more than anyone expected. What truly happened behind those hospital doors? Why did his response send fans into a frenzy? Stay with us, because the truth begins right now. Yang Mei Mei was rushed to the ER began like any ordinary evening, quiet streets, dim city lights, and a calmness that stretched across the skyline. Beneath that calm, something was unraveling. At exactly midnight, a scream shattered the silence inside her residence hall, followed by frantic footsteps and the piercing sound of emergency alarms. Neighbors peeked through their doors only to see Mei Mei's manager running down the corridor, shouting her name, desperately trying to keep her conscious. Mei Mei's body had gone limp, her breathing shallow, her eyelids fluttering with the weight of exhaustion and pain she could no longer hide. Within minutes, paramedics charged into the building. Their voices, urgent, clipped, heavy with tension, echoed through the hallway. They asked questions, took readings. Against time. Every second felt like glass breaking underfoot. Mei Mei barely responded, whispering fragmented words no one could piece together. And then, as the stretcher rolled out into the cold night air, something unusual happened. Her phone lit up with the last message she had sent earlier that evening, to Yu Long. At that exact moment, Yu Long was in his studio, preparing for an early broadcast the next day. But the moment he saw Mei Mei's name flash across his screen, his heart dropped. She rarely messaged him so late. It was short, almost haunting. If anything happens, don't blame yourself. He stood motionless, staring at the words, unsure how to interpret them, until a second notification came in. This one wasn't from her. It was her manager. Typing frantically, Mei Mei collapsed. She's being rushed to the ER. Come now. Yu Long didn't think. He grabbed his coat, keys, wallet, and ran. He didn't wait for security or staff. He didn't inform his agency. He simply ran through the streets like a man chasing the last thread tying him to someone he couldn't lose again. Memories flickered through his mind, her smile, her trembling confession weeks ago, her habit of hiding her stress until it fractured into silence. By the time he reached the hospital entrance, his breathing was shallow, and cold sweat coated his palms. Inside the ER, chaos had already taken over. Doctors rushed past him. Nurses exchanged clipped instructions. Machines beeped in a merciless rhythm. Mei Mei's family stood near the wall, pale with fear. Her mother's hands shook violently as she whispered prayers under her breath. Her father's face was stiff, carved with lines of worry and regret. Her younger brother stared blankly at the floor, as if reality had drained every thought from his mind. When the family saw Yu Long, a wave of mixed emotions hit the room. Her mother burst into tears, overwhelmed. Her brother clenched his fists, conflicted between anger and desperation. Her father simply stared at Yu Long, eyes hardened but tired, as if silently asking him, "Where were you? Why wasn't she with you? Why did she collapse alone?" Yu Long approached slowly, terrified of what he was about to hear. The doctor emerged from the emergency room at that moment, his expression grim. He called the family aside. Yu Long instinctively followed, though he wasn't sure he had the right. The doctor hesitated before speaking, carefully choosing his words. Her condition is unstable. Severe exhaustion, emotional stress, malnutrition, cardiac complications. We're trying everything. Every word felt like a bullet. Yu Long froze, unable to breathe. He heard rumors of her burnout, seen glimpses of her exhaustion in her eyes. But he hadn't understood the severity. He hadn't realized how deep her silence truly went. And now, hearing the truth inside him cracked, a fault line splitting through every memory they shared. Her mother sobbed uncontrollably. Enter her husband. Her brother choked out a whisper. Why didn't she tell us? But it was Yu Long who broke down the hardest. He sank into a chair, burying his face in his trembling hands. All the words he should have said to her. Nights he ignored the signs. All the times he assumed she was fine, they crashed over him like a tidal wave. Regret burned through his chest. Guilt suffocated him. That moment, He realized he wasn't just afraid of losing her, he was terrified of everything left unsaid. Just minutes later, a nurse rushed out and called for the family. The resuscitation alarm had gone off. Mei Mei's heart had stopped. And for the first time in years, Yulong screamed her name. The resuscitation room door slammed open, and the piercing alarm sliced through the hall like a knife. Nurses sprinted past with crash carts, while a senior doctor barked orders in a voice that left no room for hope or hesitation. Yulong felt his knees buckle, grabbing the wall for support as the weight of the moment crashed over him. Mei Mei's mother collapsed into sobs so loud that even the staff paused in shock. Her father clenched his fists so tightly that blood welled beneath his nails. Her brother, face ghostly pale, whispered her name as if trying to summon her back with sheer will. Through the small glass window of the resuscitation room, Long saw flashes of frantic movement, electric paddles, oxygen masks, gloved hands pressing urgently on Mei Mei's chest. Fragile body jerked upward with each shock. His stomach twisted. His breath came in shallow, broken bursts. This wasn't a drama script. This wasn't a tragic scene crafted for emotional impact. This was real. Brutally real. Watching the person he cared for most in the world slip further away with every passing second. He pressed his forehead against the cold glass, trembling violently. "Please," he whispered. "Please come back." Then, the doctor shouted through the chaos. Again. Clear. Her body lifted once more. This time, the monitor flickered, flat, and dotted, then a weak, trembling heartbeat slowly emerged. A gasp of relief rippled through the corridor. Her mother collapsed onto the floor crying. Her father exhaled a broken sigh. And her brother sank into a chair, covering his face. But the relief didn't last long. When the doctor stepped out, expression remained grave. "She's alive, but barely. Stabilized her heart. But she's not waking up. In critical condition. And we don't know when she'll regain consciousness." Words punched Yulong harder than anything he'd ever heard. He walked forward, gripping the doctor's arm with shaking hands. "Tell me honestly, what caused this? What pushed her this far?" The doctor hesitated, glancing at the family before speaking. "She's been under severe psychological strain. Insomnia. Panic episodes. Malnutrition. Work shows signs of long-term stress. She must have been hiding it for months." Those words shattered whatever was left of Yulong's composure. He stumbled back, hand over his mouth, fighting tears. The nights she disappeared from social media. She avoided messages. The smiles that didn't reach her eyes. He had chalked it up to scheduling conflicts, normal fatigue, temporary burnout, but he was wrong. Terribly wrong. A few hours later, they were allowed to see her. Sight was devastating. Mei Mei lay motionless under a cascade of wires and monitors, her skin pale, lips chapped, eyelids still. He breathed for her, hummed for her, kept her alive. Yulong approached the bedside with steps so slow they barely moved. When he finally reached her side, clasped her cold hand and whispered, voice cracking, "I'm here. I'm not leaving again." Her mother wept quietly behind him. Her father silently wiped away tears he refused to let anyone see. Her brother stood at the foot of the bed, trembling with anger at the world that had pushed her to this edge. Yulong leaned closer, tears dripping onto her sheets. "I should have seen it. I should have protected you. Should have been there." The guilt devoured him. He felt like someone who had arrived after the fire had already consumed everything, and all he could do now was kneel in the ashes. News of Mei Mei's midnight rush leaked to the media by morning. Social networks erupted into chaos. Fans cried, panicked, demanded answers. Hashtag Pray for Mei Mei climbed to #1 worldwide within hours. Rumors spread like wildfire, some pointing fingers at her workload, others at the industry. Even more at Yulong. Paparazzi swarmed the hospital entrance. Reporters camped outside. Producers scrambled to issue statements. Agencies held emergency meetings. By noon, Yulong's agency contacted him repeatedly, begging him to leave before the situation worsened. But he ignored every call. He stayed by her side, refusing to move even when security tried to escort him away. Her hand remained in his, fingers intertwined with desperate determination. Late that afternoon, a doctor returned with an update. The news hit like thunder. Mei Mei's vitals had begun to stabilize. Slowly. Faintly, but undeniably. Hope, fragile and trembling, returned to the room. Long exhaled a shaky breath, forehead resting against her hand. "Come back to us," whispered. "Come back to me." Outside the IQ, fans continued to gather. Messages of love poured in from all corners of the world. Candles, letters, banners, prayers, thousands of strangers holding their breath for the same girl. The same miracle. For the first time since midnight. Its sense of possibility filled the air. She was fighting. And Yu Long, tears still fresh in his eyes, silently vowed he would fight with her, until the very end. As the long night finally gave way to a faint morning glow. Hospital quieted. But the storm inside every heart remained. Machines continued their steady rhythm. Nurses moved softly through the hallway. And the world outside held its breath, waiting, hoping for a miracle. Yang Mei Mei still lay motionless. But her faintly stabilizing heartbeat became the fragile thread connecting thousands of people to a single shared wish. Beside her, Yu Long remained unmoving. Fingers gently wrapped around hers. Hours had passed. But he refused to step away, not even for a moment. In that silent room filled with fear and longing. A truth he could no longer deny, every regret, every tear, every desperate plea had brought him to this point, where all he wanted was for her to open her eyes and know she wasn't alone anymore. Outside the IQ, fans lit the world with messages of love and unwavering support. What began as a midnight tragedy had transformed into a powerful reminder of how deeply one person can touch millions. Her struggle became everyone's struggle. Her fight became theirs. And though the road ahead remained uncertain, one thing was clear: she was not fighting it alone, not anymore. To everyone who stayed with this story from the first heartbeat of panic to the final flicker of hope, thank you. Thank you for your compassion, your prayers, your strength, and your voices. Thank you for believing in her even when the night seemed endless. This journey is far from over, but we will face the next chapter together. Until then, stay safe, stay hopeful. Thank you for watching until the very end. We'll see you in the next story.